Someone's laying some eggs. You're not a snake. You're not a snake, are you? No, you're not, but you're in the snake room. And welcome back to another video. So this is going to be an exciting video. One of our pythons is coiled around eggs. So I thought I'd quickly do a little video to show you how you incubate the eggs if you're just about to breed snakes, or you've got a snake that's about to lay eggs and you haven't done it before. We're going to go through all the basics of what to do, how to remove the eggs from the snake, if you have to remove the snake eggs from the snake, and all the other basic stuff. Let's get started and check out that lovely little snake right there. And would you believe, as soon as I go near the snake that was coiled on the eggs, she's not coiled anymore. There's her little head sticking out, being super angry and inquisitive about what's happening. And it looks like she has only got 5 eggs. Yeah, so you can see how they've dimpled a little bit there. That just means that they need a little bit more moisture. So she hasn't laid in a lay box, and I'll show you a lay box soon because the other snake has a lay box. We didn't expect this little girl to lay any eggs. So I'm going to remove her eggs gently and show you the next snake. And that is how big her eggs are. She is a super small snake. She's probably around about 60-70 centimeters, about 11-12 years old, maybe a little bit older than that. Certain localities, stimmies don't get very big, so they are an awesome first snake. These little eggs we're going to pop in an incubation medium and put them in the incubator. And Benji was not impressed with that. But most pythons are more than capable to look after their own eggs, so you don't really need to incubate them unless the snake is not 100%. If the snake's a little bit skinny, you'd ideally want to incubate the eggs away from the snake so you can give the snake food. Usually when the snake is coiled around the eggs, they're not going to be interested in eating, so that's another 50-60 days of no food. A healthy python can go without food for months and months and months, up to a year quite easily. The other method of doing it, and we have yet another snake in here, this is a lay box. So this is ideally what the other python should have laid in if we knew she was going to lay eggs. This is just a little plastic box with a hole cut out, filled with moist sphagnum moss. The snake is going to go, what are those lizards doing? They're playing, good. The snake's going to go in there, and it's going to be a nice, warm, humid area for her to lay. She's going to coil around her eggs, and that's where she's going to stay. Again, this is going to be a little bit too high humidity to actually let her incubate her eggs this way, so they can get fungal infections if they get too wet. They can also absorb too much moisture, and that can damage the eggs. So we're going to remove the eggs. There's not going to be many viable eggs from this girl because she is a little bit genetically weird. Yeah, we won't even get into that. You'll understand when you see what she looks like. We're going to place them into another container. So I'm going to grab another container. This is just a normal plastic container you can get from the supermarket, hardware store, anything like that. You want a lid that is not completely sealed, so you want a little bit of airflow go through, but the whole idea is you want to keep the humidity in for the eggs to be incubated. So we're going to place this in an incubator, and I'll go through that in a second. What is in here is just a basic substrate that holds moisture. So this is called perlite. You can use vermiculite. There's a few other things. You can also just have a little bit of water on the bottom and a little mesh grate above the water. You don't want the eggs touching the water because they will absorb the water and then get too big. This has just got a tiny little bit of water in the bottom, enough to build up a little bit of humidity, and is still going to be airflow. So that is what we're going to incubate our snake eggs in. We've done this for like 20+ years. It is an easy method. There's lots of other ways of doing it. This is just one of many ways that actually works. That lizard is judging me. Stop judging. Still judging. Now all we have to do is get the eggs from the snake. So I haven't actually seen how many eggs. There is part of her. Oh, there's her head right there. There's a lot of sphagnum moss in here. Let's just fast forward while we remove sphagnum moss. Okay, that is the snake. There are eggs in there somewhere. We're going to gently try not to upset her so she doesn't freak out. And there she is, looking a lot skinnier than normal. She is an albino spotted python. Fortunately, the genetics with these isn't that great. We're going to put her back in her enclosure and then we're going to check out her eggs. And it looks like quite a few dud eggs. There are some good eggs though. So you can tell the difference. That egg there is not viable. That is not going to turn into... What are those lizards doing? Not on camera, jeez. Oh, it's just a back rub, it's fine. That is not going to turn into a snake, unfortunately. So they call those a slug, which just means if you incubate it, it's just going to go off and that can contaminate the other eggs. So you want to remove any eggs that don't look great. If you're not 100% sure, you can incubate them in a different tub. They may turn into snakes. These 100% are not going to turn into snakes, unfortunately. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 good eggs. Just genetics with some of these snakes, because a small gene pool, it's not that great to breed some of them. But we have 4 eggs from her. One is definitely the right color. One's a little bit too small. Those 2 look fine. So now all we're going to do is open up our tub. Ideally, you don't want to contaminate the tub, so now's the time that you wash your hands. Once you've washed your hands, you can make a small indent. And you can either, so those 2 eggs are together, so we're just going to leave them together. Try and remove a little bit of the substrate away from the eggs. Those 2 are together as well. We're not going to bury the eggs, we're just going to leave them like that. Now, it's important to make sure you don't have too much moisture, because as I said before, if you've got too much moisture, the eggs are going to swell up, and then that is going to damage and drown the eggs. The embryo in the snake eggs is going to attach to the top with a little air pocket. So if you turn the eggs, that can drown the eggs after about 24 hours. Unlike bird eggs, like chicken eggs and that need to be rotated, these stay perfectly still. With our tub, we've got about 2/3 of perlite and the rest is just air. We're going to pop this into an incubator. We're going to set the temperature of incubator at about 30.5 to 31 degrees Celsius. So the Fahrenheit is on the screen. That's just a normal temperature that we would incubate children's spotteds and stimmies with. These are obviously spotted python eggs. Not many of them, but 4 is better than none, I guess. So into the incubator they go. And the incubator is just a fridge. I think we're set at 30.3 degrees at the moment in here. They are going to take around about 50 to 60 days, depending on the ambient temperature and if there's any temperature spikes. Because I live in the subtropics, sometimes the temperature can get a little bit warmer than the incubator. But this is a double fridge incubator. It is a big incubator, so it holds the temperature pretty well. If you do live in a really hot climate, the bigger your incubator, the more stable the temperature is going to be. Keep that in mind. The incubator is just got a couple of low voltage fans. It's got a heat cord on a thermostat. You run the heat cord all through the whole thing. You have your thermostat in here, and the fans go 24 hours a day. Important to use fans with your thermostat, and that is it. They're going to stay there for about 2 months, and then hopefully we'll have some little pythons hatch. If you did enjoy this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you want to see what happens with all these snakes, with the whole 4 of them, and the other stimmies, click the subscribey thing, and I'll do another video once they hatch. Okay, thanks for watching.